Well, thanks for joining me once again. It's been a long time since we've covered any classic racing, but today we're back here at the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble. Well, thanks once more for joining me, and welcome to the racing highlights from the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble. Now, of course, this is just part one of 3 videos I will be posting featuring all the racing from this fantastic vintage event. We won't be covering every single race, but we do have a good selection of some of the races. So to get things underway, we are going to kick off with the very first race. This is the CCM's only race, and this of course is race 1 as the riders leave the line. Looks like a good start by Lewis Bell there, number 9. As they make their way to the centre of the track, it's Lewis Bell, number 9, who is your race leader. Second position is Peter Hollinshead on that lovely 1979 original CCM. But as our race leader comes towards us, it's still number 9, Lewis Bell, who is your current race leader in this first race of the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble. Second position, it looks like we have a change of leader in second spot. Peter Hollinshead is now down to third position, and it looks like Ian Stainton coming through there in fourth. So as we look towards our race leader as he comes round to complete lap 1 in this first race, it's still Lewis Bell. And as we wait for our second place rider to make the turn, it looks like it's Peter Hollinshead has regained his second place position. Third place man there is of course Paul Bethel on the CCM, who now goes through to take that second place from Pete Hollinshead. Looks like Pete has a problem with his 79 CCM. It looks like Pete has got a broken chain or has lost a chain on his big CCM. Number 125 there is of course Ian Stainton on another CCM Classic. But as our race leader comes round to complete lap 2, it's still the Scotsman, number 9, Lewis Bell, who is your race leader. Looks like your new second place man is still Paul Bethel. Paul, of course, the son of the famous John Bethel, the CCM man, who absolutely loved his CCM bikes. Number 125 is Ian Stainton once more coming round. Looking good on that big 4-stroke Clues machine. But it's still number 9, Lewis Bell, who has a quite comfortable lead over second place rider Paul Bethel. This of course is their first race of the day here at the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble, and this particular race of course is for those Alan Clues Classics, those wonderful sounding CCMs. Now coming round there is number 650, that's Mark Hardy from Birkenhead on his 1979 500. Great to see these old British classics still being raced on the racetracks. So there's our race leader as he comes round to start his last and final lap in this CCM race here at the 2019 Revival Scramble. That's number 9, Lewis Bell. Now, as you can see, the conditions here at the 2019 Revival Scramble are not the best. A lot of heavy rain on Saturday and Saturday evening. So the track at this point is still very slippy. There is your second place rider, number 44. That's Paul Bethel. So there is your second place man once again. It's still Paul Bethel on his particular CCM Clues machine. And the commentary you can hear in the background is being performed by Emma Partington. So there is your race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag on his last lap. It's number 9, Lewis Bell. Lewis got the whole shot right at the start of this race and has basically been unchallenged throughout the race, so that's a very comfortable win for Lewis Bell as he comes round the last few yards towards the checkered flag. So it's the first win of the day for number 9, Lewis Bell from Scotland on his CCM. Going through there is number 214, that's Philip Clark, trying to get the power down on his big CCM in these very tricky conditions. So Ian Stainton has also had a good race, and I think Ian's going to cross the line in either 3rd or 4th in this race, which is a good result for Ian. Okay, next up we have the Clubman class. This of course is race 2. This is a class for the lesser experienced motocross riders, but nevertheless they enjoy their dirt bike riding just the same as everyone else, and it's a good start from John Fullerton on the left hand side there as he goes into the turn in the lead. So it's John Fullerton in first position. Second place is of course number 45 there, that's Carol Kavanagh on that 1979 DT125 Yamaha. As you can see, the track is still very slippy at this stage, but it's still John Fullerton, number 173, on that very quick 540 4-stroke Yamaha. Second position, it's still Carl Kavanagh, and in third position there we have 414, that's Jess Yates on the 1974 CZ 380. But here is your race leader, it's still John Fullerton on the 540 4-stroke Yamaha. This of course is the Clubman class, race 2. Some of the photographers getting some good shots of the riders going through. There's your second place man, that's Carol Kavanagh, riding that 1979 little DT 125 Yamaha, complete with front and rear light. I expect that Carol will be riding this bike home after this 2019 Revival Scramble event. So it's still Carl Kavanagh in second position with Jess Yates there, number 414, coming through on the 74 CZ 380. Looks like we've got a follower there, our 4th place man on the Husqvarna. I do apologise for not knowing the rider's name at this point, but looks okay. Okay, number 417 there coming towards us. That's Peter Johnston on that very nice 1957 Tribsa 500. Peter doing really well in these very slidey race conditions. But there is your race leader in this Clubman class. It's number 173, John Fullerton on the 540 4-stroke Yamaha. Carol Kavanagh still doing well in 2nd position there on that little DT125 Yamaha. Make sure he puts those brake lights on before before he makes the turn, but he's doing extremely well on this basically what is essentially just a little road bike. So that's 2nd place man Carol Kavanagh. Okay, coming towards us is number 64. That's Richard Palmer on that very nice little HIS Stormer. I think that bike is from 1972 if my memory serves me correctly, but Richard doing really well on this old classic Villiers engined machine. Now number 417 of course again is Peter Johnston, still doing well on that lovely 1957 Tribsa. A lovely noise comes out of the back of those twin pipes from that Triumph engine. And so there is your race leader still, John Fullerton, number 163 on the 4-stroke Yamaha, still managing to keep that bike in between these sticks on this very muddy and slidey Revival racetrack. Now Carol Kavanagh is still going well, and it's still in 2nd place on that DT125 Yamaha. Of course the numbers for competitors are slightly down for this 29 Revival Scramble, mainly due to the pre-forecast monsoon rains that we were having this weekend. Saturday was extremely wet, although thankfully today the weather, the rain is not too bad, but still the track very slippy at this stage. Just going through there, number 414 is still Jess Yates in 3rd place on the 74 CZ 380. And of course the Westmorland Motor Club officials have been working hard all week building this track, and we're still working up until about 5 o'clock on the Saturday evening, putting the finishing touches to the track, so in order this meeting could still go ahead. But here is your race leader, number 173, John Fullerton on the 540 4-stroke Yamaha. Second place man is still Carol Kavanagh with number 414 there, Jess Yates in 3rd position on the 74 380 CZ. Now we have already lost a couple of riders in this first Clubman race of the day due to machine problems and others having trouble negotiating this very slippy racetrack, but nevertheless there is your race leader heading towards the checkered flag. It looks like his first win of the day for number 173, John Fullerton on the 4-stroke Yamaha. Second place, of course, is Carol Kavanagh on the little DT or 125 road-going Yamaha. Okay, next up it's the pre-60s and pre-68 class combined, over 350cc, some very fast riders in this class, so watch out for some fantastic racing in this class as they leave the line. It looks like a good start from Liston Bell on the inside, but it's John Griffiths who momentarily took the lead, but it's Liston Bell who is going to be your race leader as they come in to turn 2. We have a faller in one of the turns, but there is your race leader as they start lap 1. It's number 98, Liston Bell on the big 500cc Jawa. Second place position man looks like it's John Griffiths on that Cecil Pearson Jap. As a remainder of the pack kick up big roosters in this pre-60 and pre-68 over 350cc class race. So as we wait for a race leader to make the turn, it looks like it's still number 98, Liston Bell, who is your race leader. Liston, of course, from Scotland, normally races this bike in the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Club events. John Griffiths going through there, number 33 on the big 600cc Jap. Adrian Lappin going through on one of the other Japs. These Jap machines, of course, are 600cc's, fueled not by petrol but by methanol. But there is your race leader, it's Liston Bell on the 500 Jawa. Second position is John Griffiths from Ireland, number 33 on the big 600cc Jap. It looks like Liston Bell has made a spill off the track, so your new race leader is now number 33, John Griffiths. Cecil Pearson, of course, from Northern Ireland, has brought his collection of these Rickman Jap Scramblers over to the 2019 Revival Scramble, and as you can see, these bikes are not just showpieces, they are very quick machines and they are ideally suited for these wet and slippy race conditions. Third place man there is Lewis Bell, number 9, going through on the big Jawa. Fourth is Adrian Lappin on the 600cc Jap. But your current race leader is number 33, John Griffiths from Northern Ireland, riding one of these fantastic Cecil Pearson Jap machines. Liston Bell still in second position there on the 500 Jawa. Liston looks like he's getting close to John Griffiths. This could be a fantastic battle to the finish line between number 33 John Griffiths and number 98 Liston Bell on the big Jawa. These big 600cc Jap bikes, of course, were originally designed as speedway bikes, and you can see that John Griffiths is putting that to good use on this very slick and slidey racetrack. Okay, coming towards us we have number 111, that's Harry Stitt on another 600cc Jap. Next is 646, that's Joe Chell in fourth place. Now Joe Chell, of course, is riding that 1954 650cc Tripsa. But there is your race leader, it is still number 33, John Griffiths from Northern Ireland on the 600cc Rickman Jap. These Japs seem to be coping with this very slick and muddy conditions here at the Revival Scramble. But there is your second place man, number 98. That's Liston Bell on his 500cc Jawa. Third place is still Lewis Bell on another 500cc Jawa, but Liston Bell comes round speedway style as he heads round to complete yet another lap. So as it currently stands, it's still John Griffiths who is your race leader on the 600cc Jap, and coming towards you is number 98 Liston Bell on the 500cc Jawa. Number 111 there is Harry Stitt from Northern Ireland, also on one of the Cecil Pearson Rickman Japs. But as the rain begins to fall once more on the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble, it's still John Griffiths, your race leader, from number 98 Liston Bell. There is your race leader, it's number 33 John Griffiths on that methanol drinking 600cc Jap. So it's still John Griffiths in first position, Liston Bell going through there in second, Harry Stitt is in third as these riders head towards the checkered flag for the last and final time. John Griffiths looks like he is going to win this first pre-60 and pre-68 class over 50cc of the day. So this is the battle for second place as he head towards the checkered flag. It's still Liston Bell in second place with Harry Stitt on the Pearson Jap in third. Harry Stitt dives down the inside, but can he hold the line to cross the checkered flag? It's still Harry Stitt in second position. Liston Bell in third. It could be a dash for the finish line as they two head towards the checkered flag, but it's going to be Harry Stitt in second with Liston Bell in third. Adrian Lappin coming through on another of the Pearson Japs, number 44. Cecil, of course, has brought all 7 of his Pearson Japs to this Revival Scramble this weekend. Adrian Lappin coming through to cross the checkered flag to finish this first pre-60 and pre-68 over 350cc class race. Okay, this brings us to the next race, which is the pre-65 Unlimited and the pre-68 up to 350cc class. And as the riders leave the line, looks like a good start from number 232. That's Mitchell Harris, who's riding that 1966 350 BSA. So as they come into the turn, it's still Mitchell Harris, your race leader, from number 118. That's Kenny Harper. Number 665 there is, of course, Tim Austin. And so as we wait for our race leader to come into view, it is still number 232. That's Mitchell Harris, who is your race leader. Second is number 118. That's Kenny Harper on that 1965 420 CZ. Kenny, of course, from Scotland, as one of the organisers of the Galloway Motorcycle Club, who run that very successful Drumlandrig Castle event in the Scottish borders. And just coming towards us is number 910. That's Matt Morgan on his 1965 250 Husky. But your race leader is still number 232. That's Mitchell Harris on the 350 BSA. Mitchell riding really well in what can only be described as very difficult race conditions. Of course, the Westmorland Club are very grateful to everyone who turned out to race at this event this weekend. I know a lot of people did not eventually turn up due to the aforementioned monsoon rains, but thanks once again to everybody who turned up to race at this event. Number 665 there is Tim Austin on his very nice Rickman Triumph. Number 118, of course, again is Kenny Harper on his 420 CZ. Kenny is still in second position in this pre-65 and pre-68 up to 350cc class race. Now number 28 there, that's Mike Walker on his 1962 250cc Dot. And Mike was telling me that he's owned this particular bike since he was 14 years old. And it's almost a family heirloom to Mike, and he's riding that bike very well today here at the 2019 Revival Scramble. Now it appears we have a new race leader, that is 118 Kenny Harper. It seems that Mitchell Harris has got a problem with his BSA. There you see Mitchell pushing his 350 BSA back to the paddock, obviously some kind of major mechanical malfunction. Number 112 there is Andrew Johnston on another lovely old Dot Scrambler. Now Andrew tows this bike on his trailer with what can only be described as one of British Leyland's oldest motor cars, the old Metro, and it's hard to work out which is the oldest, whether it's the Metro car or his old Dot Scrambler. But here is your new race leader. It's number 118 Kenny Harper on his 420 CZ. This is Kenny's first ever season of riding this 420 bike, and once he once he finds the gears, he'll get on even better. And there's Mike Walker going through there yet again on his 1962 250 Dot. It's not a standard bike by all accounts, Mike says, but this old bike has served him well, and like I mentioned earlier, turns out this bike's going to end up as a family heirloom. Now number 380 there, that's Jeff Taylor on his 1965 BSA 350. Still circulating quite well on that old British bike. Now coming towards us there is number 5, that's Vince Hale, riding a 1967 BSA 350 and going quite well on it by all accounts. We have lost a few riders in this particular race due to mechanical troubles and off-track excursion, but there is your current race leader. It's number 118 Kenny Harper. Kenny riding really well in these very, very difficult conditions. Of course, in these very difficult riding conditions, it's more importantly to be smooth and consistent rather than being the fastest on the track, and you've got to try your best to keep the bike upright and moving at all costs. But there is your race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag for his hopefully first win of the day. It's number 118 Kenny Harper, riding of course that very nicely turned out 1965 420 CZ. So it's the first win of the day for Kenny Harper on the CZ. Second place man coming through is Mike Walker. He'll be very pleased to get a second place finish on his old 62 250cc dot. Okay, our next featured race is the pre-75 Unlimited and the pre-68 up to 350cc class. As the riders leave the line, it looks like an excellent start for Chris Winder on the inside there on the 250 Elsinore. So as they come towards us, it's still Chris Winder, number 265. Second position looks like Mark Watson on that 74 360 CZ as the rest of the pack make their way to start lap 1. So as we pick up our race leader, it's number 285 and not 265 as I mentioned earlier. It's number 285, Chris Winder on that 1973 250 Honda Elsinore. Second position looks like it's number 224. That's Andy Hinchcliffe, also riding a 1973 250 Elsinore. As the remainder of the chasing pack make their way up the hill. And so as we pick up our race leader once again, it's still Chris Winder, number 285 on the 250 Honda Elsinore, slipping and sliding his way around this fantastically laid out Kendal Classic Revival racetrack. Very quick and very nimble little bikes, these 250 Elsinores. Now thankfully at this point in the proceedings the rain has subsided for the time being, which hopefully will let the track dry sufficiently. As we look at our race leader, number 285, that's Chris Winder on that very quick little 250 Elsinore. Number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe, is your second placed rider, also riding a 1973 two-stroke 250 Elsinore. Now it looks like Mark Watson is in third place, just going through there, number 1 on the 360 CZ. But it's still Chris Winder, number 285, showing the rest of the pack a clean pair of heels as he crosses the finish line to start yet another lap. Andy Hinchcliffe is still your second place rider there, number 224. Chris Winder, your race leader, making this task of circulating this 2019 Revival Scramble racetrack very easy on the eye, slipping and sliding that little two-stroke Honda Elsinore motor around this fantastic racetrack. So there is your race leader, it's number 285, Chris Winder. Second position is still number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe. Both these riders, Chris Winder and Andy Hinchcliffe, riding almost identical 250 Elsinore machines. Certainly not an easy task to keep these little two-stroke bikes on the track in these very slippy conditions, but these guys making it look very easy indeed. As we take a look at some of the rest of the chasing pack. An old Suzuki RM going through there. But there is your race leader. It's still that man again, number 285, Chris Winder, who is your current race leader. Chris is putting in some really fast laps on this Elsinore bike. These Elsinores, of course, originated from California, the Elsinore Grand Prix way back in the 1970s, where Honda then rebranded these little bikes and called them Honda Elsinores and sold in their thousands. But it looks like it's the first win of the day for Chris Winder on the 250 Honda Elsinore as we look towards our second place man. That should be number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe, as he brings his 1973 250 Elsinore across the start and finish flag for a good second place win. Okay, next up it's a turn of the pre-1975 over 250cc class race. This of course is race 6 of 25, although we won't be covering 25 races from the 2019 Revival Scramble, but we will bring you a good selection of the racing action. So as the riders get ready to leave the line, it looks like a good start from number 26 on the inside. That's James Thompson on another one of those Cecil Pearson Rickman Japs. So as the riders come towards us, it's number 26, James Thompson, your race leader. Number 8 looks like David Wright there going through on the 1974 CCM. Chris Chell going through and Liston Bell going through as the remainder of the pack start lap 1. And so your race leader from Northern Ireland is number 26, that's James Thompson, on yet another one of those fantastic Cecil Pearson's 600cc Jap machines. As I mentioned earlier, these engines and these bikes were originally designed to be used in speedway machines, just a 3-speed gearbox and a big 600cc long stroking methanol fueled motor. These engines of course were built and designed by the world famous John Alfred Prestwich. So there is your race leader. It's number 26, James Thompson, in first position, and coming towards us it looks like it's Liston Bell in second position, number 98. Third place going through there is number 9, that's Lewis Bell on the CCM. And so as we pick up our race leader, it's still number 26, James Thompson, riding one of the 7 Cecil Pearson Japs that Cecil has brought over from Northern Ireland for our 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble. Second position man going through there is number 98, Liston Bell. Third place is Lewis Bell, number 9 on the CCM. Number 264 going through there is Chris Chell riding that beautiful Shenny BSA. So it looks like a good battle is starting between Chris Chell and number 268 there. That's Keith Rice on the 1972 CZ 380. Looks like a good race developing between these two riders. Looks like Chris Chell has taken the far line. But there is your race leader, still circulating, is number 26, James Thompson. James, of course, can ride a variety of these classic scrambles machines. I was in Ireland earlier on in the year and saw James riding 5 different machines in 5 different classes and almost won every race, had it not been for overcooking one of his races into a corner and hitting the ropes. But a very special talent indeed, this young guy, James Thompson. Okay, coming towards us is the battle for second position between the two Bell brothers of Liston and Lewis. And it looks like Lewis is now taking that second position on the CCM with brother Liston on the 500 Jawa, who is now in third position as both these riders start their last and final lap. And there is certainly no love lost between these two brothers when they both take to the racetrack. It's all out to see who wins the race. These two will battle tooth and nail to see who is going to get the better of the other. But there is your race leader. It's still number 26, James Thompson, as he makes his way on his last and final lap. The conditions still very slippy at this Westmorland County Showground. So here is your battle for second position between number 9 Lewis Bell on the CCM and Liston on the 500 Jawa as they head towards the turn. Advantage Lewis, but Liston's making a speedway oh my goodness me, I don't know what happened there to Liston. It looks like he got a bit crossed up, but he's still in one piece. But there is your race leader as he takes his first win of the day. It's James Thompson on the 600cc Jap, your race winner. Okay, our next scheduled race on the programme is the Twinshock 125s and Twinshock 250s. And this, of course, is race 6, a good lineup of riders for this particular race, as we're just waiting on the officials giving the go-ahead to start this particular race. Just waiting on the track marshal telling us the track is now clear to start this race. As you can see, the weather is not the best. It's still raining quite heavily at this point. So the 15-second board is up. And the riders leave the line in a hail of smoke and mud. So as they move into the turn, it looks like a good start from number 43. That's Ryan Ireland on the 1979 250 Honda Red Rocket. Yes, it's Ryan Ireland who is your race leader. Oh, Ryan has just took a spill. Looks like he lost the front wheel on his bike. Jim Grieve has been pushed into the ropes here, number 15 on the Honda Red Rocket, as the rest of the pack make their way through. And it looks like we've had a coming together between two riders there, number 50. Just one of these racing incidents in this very tricky racing conditions. But there is your race leader. It's number 224. That's Andy Hinchcliffe, who is still riding that 1973 Honda 250 Elsinore. So it's Andy Hinchcliffe, your race leader. Quite hard to read the riders' numbers as they come through because of the very muddy conditions. And so there is your race leader as the rain begins once more to absolutely lash this Westmorland County Showground track. It's number 224. It's Andy Hinchcliffe, your race leader. These little two-stroke bikes working really hard in these very wet, wild and sticky conditions. Number 43 there is Ryan Ireland, who made an initial good start but dropped his bike. Is up and running again, and he's riding that 1979 250 Honda Red Rocket as the goggles get thrown into the crowd. Just let's hope that Ryan doesn't need them for the remainder of the race. But there is your race leader slipping and sliding his way around this Westmorland County Showground track. That's number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe. As the rain begins to continue to make this track as slippy as possible for these riders. And so as we still pick up our race leader, it's still number 224. That's Andy Hinchcliffe, riding absolutely superbly despite these heavy rains onto the racetrack. Andy riding very well in this particular race as he comes round to cross the start and finish line to start his last and final lap in this race. Looks very comfortable for a win at this particular point. That's of course hoping he has no mechanical issues or unscheduled off-track excursions. As your second place man, recovered very well. That's Ryan Ireland, who had the initial hole shot and dropped his bike, and has picked it up and recovered extremely well to get back up there into second position. Number 91 coming towards us there, that's Paul James on the 1980 250cc Myco. It looks like Chris Trotton is encountering a bit of trouble trying to get up the hill on his 250 KTM GS. Looks like a slick tyre he's got on the back of that bike, but anyway, here is your race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag. It looks like it could be a win for Andy Hinchcliffe on the 250 Honda Elsinore, although it's looks like Ryan Ireland is making a move on the inside. It's Ryan Ireland who has got the advantage towards the checkered flag. Remember, Andy had the initial hole shot, dropped his bike soon after, but has recovered absolutely superbly to take the lead of this race right on the final lap. but it looks like it's going to be a well-deserved win for Ryan Ireland on the 1979 250 rigged rocket. Andy Hinchcliffe is going to take a second place despite leading almost all of this race. Okay, the last and final race in this part 1 video from the 2019 Kendal Classic Revival Scramble. This of course is the Twinshock A class boys. These are the very fast Twinshock riders, and look out for riders including Alan Bott, Mark Fulton, Stuart Bland, Paul Chiappa. Some very quick riders in this race. 15-second board is up and the riders leave the line. It's a good start from Trevor Calderwood in the middle. Mark Fulton is on the inside, but Trevor Calderwood has made an excellent start from Northern Ireland. A couple of fallers there into the turn, but as they come through, it's Mark Fulton, your race leader. Second place is Stuart Bland. Third place is Alan Bott. Fourth is Craig Smith. Fifth is Trevor Calderwood. Number 18 going through is Jim Colligan. But it's Mark Fulton from Stuart Bland in second position. Alan Bott is in third position. Fourth place is Trevor Calderwood. Fifth is Craig Smith on that black 400cc Michael. So there is your race leader. It's Mark Fulton on the 500cc Honda. This bike of course was initially built by second place man Stuart Bland, who is coming through now. Stuart also on one of these 500cc Hondas. Third place position is Alan Bott on the 81 490 Michael. Trevor Calderwood is fourth. Craig Smith is still fifth. Paul Chiappa is sixth. But as we take a look at our race leader, it's number 48. That's Mark Fulton. Mark putting some very fast laps in on that 500cc Honda. Mark, of course, an ex-Works Kawasaki rider back in the day, and as you can see, never lost any of the skill and speed that he enjoyed back in those superb times. So your race leader is still number 48, Mark Fulton, on that two-stroke 500 Honda. Second place should still be Stuart Bland, coming through in second position. Now this is your battle for third. Craig Smith is your third placed rider. Alan Bott is fourth. Craig Smith getting rid of his goggles once more. As we look towards the rest of the chasing pack. Very hard to read these riders' numbers, but second place man there, third place man is Alan Bott, that's Pete Mathia on the inside coming up. Pete Mathia seems to have got the better of Alan Bott. No, it's still Alan Bott, number 74. Pete Mathia there on the Michael, number 55. An absolutely superb rider, Pete Mathia, who just recently secured another British Classic Motorcycle Championship. Number 438 going through there, that's Brian Littler on the 81 490 Michael. But here is your race leader. It's still 48, Mark Fulton, who so far in this race has been virtually unchallenged as he slips and slides his way to the conclusion of another lap. Mark, of course, rode this event in 2018 under what can only be described as better summer conditions. It was an absolutely superb weekend at this event in 2018. But nevertheless, these riders still making the most of these very difficult track conditions. There is your second place man, that's number 14, that's Stuart Bland on the 500 Honda, chasing his fellow namesake Mark Fulton. Craig Smith has stopped on the track, and apparently Craig hit one of these posts at full throttle with one of his hands, so I think he's just trying to recover at this point. So it's still number 48, Mark Fulton, your race leader. And don't forget, look out for parts 2 and parts 3 from the 2019 Revival Scramble, which will be posted on my YouTube channel quite soon. So it's still Mark Fulton with a very comfortable ride in this first Twinshock A class race of the day. Mark Fulton taking the win in this race. Stuart Bland is already crossed the line in second position as we await our third place finisher. Pete Mattia there having a oh dear. That's a very uncharacteristic spill for Pete Mattia. Normally Pete is the absolute master in these kind of conditions, but not on this occasion unfortunately, but still crossing the line to a very good finish. This video was brought to you in association with World Sport, the world's #1 supplier for all your off-road and leisure sportswear. Just visit their online website for more details.